Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Cup of Joe. I didn't do any advertising or promoting for this one. This is a word that God has placed inside of my spirit and actually gifted to me. You know, I was gifted this word through personal trial. And I'd like to say I am not just a conduit of this word. For me, it's personal. It's a moment of transparency. You know, when God showed me this thing, or that this thing had gripped me in such a way in this season, I knew that it was my responsibility to release this word into the atmosphere on this platform that God has invested and entrusted to my life. Welcome, Bianca and Jonathan. Nice to see you all. Now, I believe that many others, much like myself, are consumed by these or have been consumed by these two words, public isolation. And I'm going to break that down in just a moment. But first, we're going to go into a moment of transparency. You know, after graduating as a first-year Bible college student in May of 2023, that's last year, my world seemingly flipped upside down. And in this flipping came various attacks from the enemy in an attempt to de-arm me of my weaponry as a Christian. And a quick sidebar, you know, I've been a Christian for my entire life and endured many trials over the years. I am one of those individuals that tend to get over things very quick. And I thought that in itself was an amazing trait. However, I am learning that it can also be a byproduct of a much deeper issue. See, the thing is, we have two types of people, and this message is for both types. I'm going to tell you what two types of people we have. The first type of people are quick releasers that have the ability to forgive easily the things that have come against them, be it words or action. This type of person is more likely than not to host micro-incremental, deep-rooted issues that go completely undetected from the time of inception until now. The second type of people are slow releasers that are not easily moved to forgiveness. This group of people are usually referred to as grudge holders. And this type of people group are more likely than not to host macro incremental deep-rooted issues that leave them openly wounded or scarred until now. Now I'm going to break this down really quick. So a micro incremental releaser is a person that can quickly forgive, quickly get over things, surface. But there are very small particles that they actually hold on to, that attach themselves to them deep. And a lot of this stems from childhood traumas, things that they have gone throughout the course of life. However, a macro incremental person is, like I said, a person that is not easily moved on releasing or forgiving, and they outwardly express that unforgiveness, and it's very apparent in their life, and it shows their wounds openly. All right. So here's a Levitical truth that we should all live by. Leviticus 19:18, and it reads, "Do not seek revenge or bear a grudge against a fellow Israelite, but love your neighbor as yourself. Period. I am the Lord." And I believe the reason that the Lord said, "I am the Lord," was not that they were unfamiliar with his lordship. I believe the reason he said it is because he is love. And I think many times it's easy for us to say, you know, we don't find it comfortable to hold a grudge against God. However, you know, there are times when we will justify certain reasonings for not being able to forgive others. And I think what God is trying to say here is, in the same way that you wouldn't hold a grudge against him, and in the same way that you love him, to love your brothers and sisters. And I believe that this here has been this public isolation spirit has been a spirit of isolation that has been released into the earth that has seemingly gone undetected until now. You know, if you have been a Christian for any length of time, you are more than likely familiar with the term introduced in the writings of St. Jerome that reads, idle time or idle mind is the devil's workshop. Now, although this is not a biblical literacy, the Apostle Matthew wrote the words of Jesus in Matthew 12:36, documenting this word. And it says, and I tell you this, you must give an account on Judgment Day for every idle word you speak. Now, although this is saying idle word, this is something that God gave me, that these two truths, they run parallel for this reason alone, that idle words come from idle minds, and idle minds come through idle time. 2 Corinthians 10:3-5 is going to take us into what God wanted us to see about having an idle mind, about not taking thoughts captive. Let's take a look at what he says. He says, for though we walk in the flesh, we do not war after the flesh. For the weapons of our warfare are not carnal. They are not carnal. They're not fleshly, but mighty through God to the pulling down of strongholds, casting down imaginations, which are those thoughts, and every high thing that exalteth itself against the knowledge of God, and bringing into captivity every thought to the obedience of Christ. Supporters, I believe that this is a cup, a heartfelt cup, an assignment that God has given me to help expose a dormant spirit that has tried to attach itself to the lives of God's people, old and young alike, Jew and Gentile the same. And now there has been a revelation and awareness issued to cancel this assignment on this generation, brought about by social media and acceptance. We have to be careful as Christians in what we accept into our faith. And I believe that there are people walking around the same way that I was prior to getting this revelation, that are walking around idled in their mind. Yes, we see you. You're out and about. You're talking to people, but you're still idled in your mind and idled in your spirit. And today is the day to say no to being isolated in mind and visually public. The buck stops now. I thank you all so much for allowing this word to hit your ears. And I pray that God will open your spiritual ears and your spiritual eyes so that you can see that this thing is rapidly taking a hold of this generation. We have to say no. We have to be the voice that stands against all odds and that stands for what we believe in. There will be no more public isolation. And this is the first word that I've heard about it on social media. But it stops now. This has been Cup of Joe. I pray that this has blessed your life. I pray that it's blessed you deeply and that it has enriched your soul. And I pray that you share this with somebody that may be dealing with this. Maybe you don't know. Just share it. Just share it. God asked me to get this word out, and I'm getting this word out. And now that I've gotten it out, it's all of our responsibility to share this word, whether it be verbally or sending this video to somebody. Stay strong. I love you all, and I will see you all soon.